This is the second video I'm filming for this channel. I am so excited. So if you are here, thank you so much for coming back. Please like, subscribe, follow along so we can be booked together. But today I'm going to share with you my bookshelves. I have two in my living room. I have this full one holds majority of my books. The other one, half are my books, half are my husband's books. So I'm going to take you through. You'll see probably my favorite authors will be very obvious because your girl has multiple books by that person. So you'll get some book recommendations along the way here and there. And I'm just super excited to keep making these videos and share the love of books with you and, you know, everybody out there. So let's get right into it. I always change up my bookshelves because, like, who doesn't? So right now they're in alphabetical order by author's last name, just because I had them separated by genre for a little bit and it was getting a little annoying, if I'm going to be honest. So you're going to see here they're all alphabetized. They start here. We have this bookshelf that the top three shelves are mine, and then down below are my husband's. So I'm going to start with the first bookshelf because these ones are the end ones. All right, so we only have one A, which is 13 Reasons Why. I read that for a summer reading. And then we go into the B's, and you will see from here, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 Mary Burton books. I love Mary Burton. I feel like they misclassify her. They classify her as romance. There's an undercurrent of romance, but it's primarily murder mystery. Then I have Emma Cary, The Girl Who Fell from the Sky. It is her true story of her parachute not opening when she went skydiving, and she's a walking paraplegic. She is incredible. I follow her on Instagram, found her story, and love her book. Then we have two Robin Carr books. I actually have one other that's on my current TBR. Super quick, good for reading in the summertime. Happy vibes. Then we go to Cassandra Clare. Gonna be honest, this is only on my shelf because it's super pretty. That is the only reason, because I didn't really like the story. Then we go to Cassandra Clare's The Moral Instruments and Infernal Devices, which I absolutely love, and we finished them down here. Super fantasy, but written as YA, so it's not so drug out and world building, because I typically get lost in world building and I need something to keep my attention. So there's that. We have a couple random authors here. We have Night Shift by Annie Crown, The Last Thing He Told Me, and Sweet Salt Air. And then we go into some good old Sarah Dessen. There's something about Sarah Dessen when you grow up, like, you just have to read her. Now they're all reading, like, Colleen Hoover and crazy things like that. No, growing up, you need to start with Sarah Dessen. So she's still on my shelf. Then we go to some other random books. I have J.C. Dugard's story. I also have it on my Nook. This is the second book in her story. We have some Carrie Fisher, Taryn Fisher. Before we go into, I mean, look at all that color. And it continues down here. Oh, I love Joanne Fluke. You guys heard me talk about the chocolate chip cookie murder by her. This is all one series. This is Hannah Swenson's story. Each book typically wraps up with a, solving of the crime. Somebody gets murdered. What happens? Hannah owns a cookie shop and bakery in town, and in a very small town where, honestly, how does so much murder happen in such a small town? It's kind of crazy. But she solves them. The only one that I can remember being on a cliffhanger was this last book, Pink Lemonade Cake Murder. She left us off on a little cliffhanger, which was so unlike Joanne Fluke, and I am here for it. So that next book comes out sometime this year. Then we go into Gone Girl, which was good. And then we have Gail Forman. Gail Forman wrote If I Stay, and then the follow-up book Where I Went. This turned into a huge motion picture. Love Gail Forman. Love, 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 love. This is one of my favorite books. It is a heart-wrenching story, and I think about it all the time. This was a great read. And so I also have I Was Here by her as well. We have Every Summer After by Carly Fortune, and this blew up all over social media when it came out, and it wrecked me. It wrecked me so much. I'm not okay with that book, with, the storyline, because it was so, like, unexpected for me that, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't read her other books just because. Here we have a true story. This is by Kate Grossmare. Sorry if I totally butchered that. Forgiving My Daughter's Killer. This is a true story. The brown paper, this is actually on it because instead, when we got married, instead of doing like actual little table numbers, we covered some of our books. So there is that one. And I'm just going to keep it because sentiment. So here is Cody Hall. You heard me talk about this in my first video. Nick and Noelle's Christmas Playlist. Highly recommend. It was such a good rom-com. Then we go into Jenny Han. Jenny Han is another one. She reminds me of Sarah Dessen, of just kind of, if you need a YA that is just light and not so bogged down with adult emotion, this is fantastic. We have The Summer I Turned Pretty, and then we have the P.S. I Love You trilogy. So, so good. The other book is loaned out at the moment, so I don't have all of them here because I loan my books out to friends and family and, whoever wants to read from my little library. We go into some other random books, and then we have Emily Henry. Now, unpopular opinion, I'm not a huge Emily Henry fan. I think her covers are beautiful. The synopsis is catching. They are supposed to be light and heartfelt and just kind of a good beach read. This one's Book Lovers. I have Happy Place down here, but I feel like there's too much description and it loses me. I'm so sorry, Emily Henry. Going on, I have, of course, Colleen Hoover, because I think everybody reads Colleen Hoover at this point. This was a really good book. I am not watching the movie. I was going to watch the movie, ended up not seeing it. I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait for it to come out. Now, with this whole lawsuit thing going on, with Blake Lively and, the producer, Justin something or other, I am not going to be watching it and supporting that, of what all the craziness that's coming out with it. So I will not be supporting that movie. So sorry to Justin, because he worked on it, but he's getting the short end of the stick. Anyway, I digress. Next is one of my favorite authors, Holly Jackson. She writes YA. The Good Girl's Guide to Murder really launched her writing. Now this is a trilogy. There's also a novella, actually, that comes before this, written after, but kind of leads into where she got the idea for this. Five Survive. This is her latest release, The Disappearance of Rachel Price. I love Holly Jackson's books. She has a new book coming out this year and I cannot wait. She is a fantastic writer, so imaginative. You feel like you know exactly what's going on. This actually turned into a Netflix short series. Wasn't as good as the book, of course, because her descriptions are fantastic. So if you need a kind of YA like murder mystery, definitely do Holly Jackson. But if you're looking for something super sweet, lighthearted, Abby Jimenez, Just for the Summer. This book, oh my gosh. I mean, this is the definition of if he would, he will. Such a sweet book. I read this in like 2 days and it's so good. It is a lighthearted book. I mean, look at the cover. Oh, I just love it. So good. So highly recommend this. So much. So much. Then we go into, I have one Stephen King book because honestly, his books kind of scare me. But this is 11/22/63. I have this in 2 versions. I have this hardcover and a paperback that is loaned out at the moment to somebody because I thought that was a really good book. It talks about the Kennedy assassination and what the main character time travels and what happens if he goes back to kind of rewrite that and all of the events that change because of that. Next, we have Local Woman Missing. This author, Mary Kubica, I feel like she is brand spanking new, or at least to me, and I'm so excited to read her other books because this one was so good. I actually read this as an audiobook, or listened to it, of course, because you can't read an audiobook. I listened to this, and I am not the best with audiobooks and visualizing, but this was so well written that I didn't have any hard time staying focused or anything like that. And then I actually got the paperback after because I just had to have it so that way I can actually physically reread it when I want to. Then we go to Sherry LaPena. I love her books. I actually have some even on my Nook. Just well written. She kind of hooks you page 1. And again, that is super mystery-esque. Then we have some other random books. We have We Are Liars, which is so good. This one was fantastic. And then we have the book that was written after, but it's really the prequel. So I read this after I knew what happened in this book. This is just a general fiction book. Definitely recommend. It was... Usually I know what happens. In this book, I did not know what happened until it happened. Then we go to Frida McFadden, which, if you don't know Frida McFadden, I get on that because her books are so good. If you love murder mystery, she is your girl because, I mean... I just love her books. We have The Boyfriend, which literally made me gasp. When I found out what the heck was happening. And again, usually I know because obviously you can tell. I read a lot of murder mystery. I usually know what's happening. I still gasped at that book because I didn't know what was happening. Here is the Housemaid series. You heard me talk about in my first video, I read The Housemaid's Wedding, and that actually comes in between these 2 books, so book 2 and book 3, because in this one, she meets the guy, and then this one, they're married, so she just made a little novella to bridge that gap. Such a good series that this one is becoming a movie. So I'm super excited. It's actually being filmed in Jersey, which is super cool and exciting. So here is my other bookshelf. I'm just going to do a little overview. So we ended with Frida McFadden, so we're still in our M's. We have Karen McManus. Obviously I love her books. I have quite a few of them, and I swear I am missing one of them. They might be loaned out because I love her books so much. Her writing style reminds me of Holly Jackson. So because Holly Jackson is a newer author, this just kind of helps fill in Holly's, writing style a little bit when I'm, craving that. Have some Fern Michael, unpopular opinion, The Silent Patient. I knew exactly what was happening, so it was a little anticlimactic for me. Then we go to Lane Moriarty. I love Lane Moriarty. Different, styles of writing. She has some mystery. She has some love story in there. And honestly, she's actually just found in the general fiction of my Barnes & Noble. This actually became, The Apples Never Fall, actually even became a movie. Big Little Lies, which you probably have heard before, became a TV series on Hulu. Super, super good, and just, I love her writing style. So a couple others. Somebody I've gotten into recently is Lynn Painter. If you are looking for a witty, oh my gosh, her writing is like she is telling you a funny love story with some wisecracks in there, and it's just super fun and light, and the banter is always so good. She does have spice in her books, but I mean, it's just so good. So Lynn Painter, I started her books, and they're just a good palate cleanser when you need one. The 7 Year Slip was such a good Ashley Poston book. I only have one of her books, but plan to read some more, of hers. Then here we have some other ones. We have Taylor Jenkins Reid. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo was so good. Highly recommend that. Again, a nice little fiction book. Geneva Rose is so good. I have one of her books here, which is The Home is Where the Bodies Are. If you did not read this one, you need to. It's so good. Her writing is fantastic. Did not see what happened coming at all. So it's so good. Look at all that. More color. We have our Pretty Little Liars series. I have all of them. Eliza's by Sarah Shepard. And I have actually more Sarah Shepard down here. This was fantastic. The Perfectionists and The Good Girls, this little set. We have Reputation by her as well. Then we have some Karen Slaughter. Getting into her, she's full on mystery and crime. Then we have a couple other, just some Snowed In for Christmas, a little rom-com, Speed of Life, Flicker in the Dark. So just really a mix of books, a lot of murder mystery, a lot of romance, but some general fiction and memoirs in there as well. And then here is, so I actually take this shelf and it becomes my what I read for the yearbooks. So as I read them, you'll see here was from the first video, all the 6 books that I read in January. So I have them here, and as I read, the next book, it'll go there, and I'll keep filling, and then those books get shifted up. Because at the end of the year, I take a huge picture in front of all of my books to show how many books I read for the year. So it's super fun, and I used to kind of find them, but that became a lot of work. So I just now dedicate this shelf to, that is the books that I read for the year. If you got to this part of the video, I just want to say thank you once again. I'm having so much fun putting these videos together, and I hope you are enjoying them. I have a bunch of more book ideas. up in this noggin of mine, and I can't wait to film them and put them together and share the love of books with you. So if you like this video, please like, follow, subscribe along, and comment below what is your favorite book that I also have on my shelf that you've read and you love as well. So let's start building this Booked with Debbie community and see where we end up. So I hope you're enjoying the current book that you are reading. If not, DNF it, you don't need it, and pick something that you are going to love.